Nerding and hoarding. Quick and dirty DIY electronics. The genius behind the Korg MS-20's iconic sound. A deep dive into its filter design. That is what we are going to do today. Imagine yourself in the year 1978. You walk into a music store and there it is. The Korg MS-20 synthesizer, a machine that would go on to change the sound of electronic music forever. From pulsating bass lines to shrieking leads, the MS-20 was raw, aggressive, and like anything that had come before it. Today we're going to explore the secret weapon behind the MS-20's legendary sound, its low-pass filter. And believe it or not, it all starts with a humble, well-known filter topology called the Sellen-Key filter. But before we go into that, we need to talk a little bit about what is a filter anyway. Yeah, exactly. What exactly is a filter? Well, in simple terms, a filter is an audio tool that shapes the frequency of a sound. It's like a sculptor's chisel for sound waves, carving out frequencies and shapes and leaving behind the tones and waveforms you want to hear. There are different types of filters: low-pass filters, high-pass filters, bandpass. But the low-pass filter, which allows low frequencies to pass through while cutting out higher ones, is what gives the MS-20 its dark, brooding sound. The Korg MS-20 didn't just use any low-pass filter. It uses a modified version of the Sallen-Key filter, a simple yet effective filter topology that engineers had relied on for decades. Here you see a simple Sellen-Key filter, filtering a simple incoming square wave and putting out a very beautifully chiseled sort of sine tried brush wave. The Sellen-Key filter, simple yet powerful. Let me introduce it to you. The Sellen-Key filter, the foundation of the MS-20's low-pass core filter. At its core, the Sellen-Key filter is a combination of two resistors, two capacitors, and an operational amplifier. This simple configuration forms a second-order filter, which means it has a steeper slope or cutoff compared to a basic first-order filter. But also, this gives it more of a kink right at the cutoff frequency. We can imagine a typical Sallen-Key filter as an audio gatekeeper, smoothly rolling off frequencies above a certain point. Its effectivity, reliability, and precision, qualities that make it ideal for synthesizer, but Korg had bigger plans. The MS-20's twist on the Sellen-Key Sellen-Key filter. Now, what makes the MS-20's filter so special? Well, here's where things get interesting. Korg took the standard Sellen-Key filter and tweaked it, and added diodes and amplification in the feedback loop. These diodes are what turns a polite, well-mannered filter into something wild, aggressive, and unpredictable. And here's where the beautiful diodes come in. The leading role, the magic of this beautiful, beautiful creature we have come to know as the Beast. These diodes are what turns a polite, well-mannered filter into something wild and aggressive. That is, these diodes and this sort of amplification here and amplification here, and you know what I mean. The nonlinear feedback in a typical Sallen-Key filter, the feedback is linear, which means it behaves predictably, but in the MS-20 diodes introduce nonlinear feedback. You know, I just do like this, and you see what is going to happen right here? Yeah, that's beautiful for you, isn't it? And here we can actually adjust how much feedback do we want, and here, yeah, sorry, the script, yes. As the input signal increases, the diode distorts the signal. This creates a unique grit and aggression, adding harmonics and giving the MS-20 its trademark rogue, saturated tone. Clipping distortion. The diodes also clip the signal, which I'm not sure of, but whatever, which causes distortion at higher resonance settings. Instead of a smooth, gentle resonance, we will get something else. You get a filter that bites back, harsh, metallic, but musically very satisfying. This isn't just a filter, it's a personality. It's like taking a smooth jazz musician and turning them into a punk rocker. You see that? That's beautiful, yeah. That's beautiful. That's supposed to be 1.8 like that. Alright. the filter as a sound source. Now here's where things get even cooler. The MS-20 filter doesn't just shape sounds. It can also create sound. It's like this, you know. You see that? There's a sound wave. Sound waves look like this. And it's also clipped, you see. It's clipped by this diodes right here. So, let me explain. At high resonance settings, the filter begins to self-oscillate. What does that mean? Well, essentially, the filter produces a sine wave tone all of its own. But it's also quite, I don't know, fucked up. Yeah, fucked up. That's the complete word. At this point, the filter isn't just shaping the sound from the oscillator, it creates new sound energy. You now tune the filter into a completely new instrument. Musicians and sound designers have been exploiting this self-oscillating to craft everything from airy drones to sharp, percussive stabs. It's as if the filter took off a life on its own, becoming both sculpture and performer. You know, it's sort of a Renaissance man. This filter is a Renaissance man. Yeah, and it's very sexy also. Did I forgot to mention that? Yeah, yes. Well, it definitely is. Yes, definitely. If you buy this, you will definitely get laid every night of your rest of your life. But this is not it. There is more to come. The voltage control magic. So here is where we will distort a little bit from the original design, but we have been doing that all day. So the Korg MS-20 uses OTAs here, but we will show this little magic just using normal, potentiometers. Because potentiometer is sort of the hand of God, if you know what I mean. It's magic. There you go. Magic just happened. We're not done yet. The MS-20 filter also uses voltage control, meaning it responds to external signals that modulate its behavior. You know, just like this. Bam, bam. Did you see that? Bam, bam. Did you see that? Now we are at super slow oscillating territory, and now we are at BAM, super high frequency. With voltage control, you can dynamically shift the filter's cut-off frequency and its resonance. Yeah, that's sort of here and here. Yeah, you have to move both of them at the same time. Now, instead of having just a static filter, the cutoff is pulsating and shifting, creating those sweeping filter effects we love to hear in all those techno tracks and in those old psychedelic, sort of strange blah movements things, you know. But it gets even better. You can patch the filter to follow an envelope generator. This gives you the classic filter sweep effect, where the filter opens and closes in sync with the shape of the sound's envelope. That's how you can get those iconic wah sounds that define so many bass lines, you know. You know, those cool things, you know. With this semi-modular design, the MS-20 is like a playground for sonic exploration. You're no longer simply confined to simple signal chaining. Instead, you can create complex interconnections that make every sound unique. But then again, isn't this just, like a stupid old instrument that no one cares about because, we have computers today, don't we? Yeah, that's when we come in to the real interesting thing. Why does this matter? So why does all this matter? Why did Korg decide to modify the Sellen-Key filter and create such an iconic piece of musical history? Well, it's because Korg dared to experiment with nonlinearity, with distortion, with unpredictable behavior. They took a design that was practical and predictable and made it wild. They gave musicians a filter that wasn't just a tool, but that actually was a character all of its own. This filter in many ways embodies the spirit of synthesizers itself. It's actually close to the spirit of God. It's about pushing boundaries, embracing imperfections, get married to a synthesizer and have love children with it. The MS-20 became more than a synthesizer. It became half human, half God, and half machine. Wait a minute, isn't that 1.5? Yes, you are right. But this is more than everything we have come to know before. It became a voice, an aggressive, raw, and sometimes uncontrollable voice that that screamed to a generation of musicians and still scream today. So now, finally, I put this in the comment fields below, this simulation, so you can play with it while you play with yourself. That is how sexy this filter is. Yes, definitely. So, as you sit here, think about how a simple filter designed in the 1950s could be transformed by a few diodes and another operational amplifier, of course, into one of the most revolutionary sounds in musical history. The MS-20's low-pass filter may have started as a simple modification of the Sellen-Key design, but what it became is nothing short but iconic. It was created in the time before time, and now all we can do is recreate this heroic story. Every time you hear an MS-20, whether it's in a vintage electronic track or in a modern sound design, you hear the result of that bold decision to break the rules, to add grit where there was once smoothness, and chaos where there was once order. The MS-20's filter reminds us that sometimes the best results comes from embracing the imperfections, to embrace the kink at the cut-off frequency, to amplify it, and to cut it down with the cutting, diode clipping. Yeah, clipping, yes. The MS-20 low-pass filter, while keeping the focus on exciting intersection of engineering and artistry. The Korg MS-20 low-pass filter uses the Sellen-Key topology but embraces the flaw like the poor Q factor, harsh resonance and distortion to create a unique sound. Instead of striving for a smooth, clean response, Korg intentionally used these diodes to introduce nonlinearity and clipping distortion in the filter, resulting in a gritty, aggressive tone. The poor Q factor made less smooth but added the edgy unpredictable character. The resonance at the cutoff frequency was pushed to extreme levels using this sort of and this amplifier right there. Rather than fixing these flaws, Korg embraced them, turned them into a signature feature of the MS-20. The result was a filter with wild, screaming resonance or rich harmonic distortion, creating the bold, iconic sounds that synthesizer is known for. So, in the Korg MS-20, the high Q factor resonance plays a crucial role in shaping its distinctive sound. At high Q settings, I mean, that's not even a setting. I mean, who wrote this? I'm going to talk to my speechwriter. Sellen-Key filter becomes intensified, meaning the frequency near the cutoff are amplified significantly. This creates a sharp peak at the cutoff frequency, making the resonance very pronounced. However, instead of letting this resonance behave in a typical smooth way, diodes or even LEDs were introduced into the feedback loop. These diodes clip the amplified signal. It's exceeding certain thresholds, here, right here. So it's like 2 volts and clipping it down. So if you zoom in like here, you might see it. No, it's too bad. It's too high frequency, so I can't do it. So this combination of amplified resonance and diode clipping results in the MS-20's favors sharp, distinctive blah. Yeah, and there you go. A very, very romantic introduction to this little filter right here that we at Nerding and Hoarding will now try to clone, but only use 10 components. It's so stupid. I know it's impossible. 10 or less. I do 10 or less, 10 or less. Of course, I will be cheating, such as, doing like this. Look here. I will do like this. This is one component. It's called a clipping thing, and I just put it in some heat shrink, and I say this is a clipper, and I will take 2 Vactrols here and put them 2 LDRs right here, 2 LEDs and 2 resistors, and I put them inside of heat shrink, and I call this is a double Vactrol resistor Vactrol, and so on. Will it be possible? Will it be impossible? Well, if you look around here, you can never really say. If we just look quickly right here, will it be possible? Well, you see here 2 operational amplifiers. That means 1 component. Here we can put 1 trim pot right here, 1 potentiometer here, 1 trim pot here. How many components does that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I have to sort of clump this together as well. But I think it will be possible. So remember, who is the new star in the heaven of the nerdiest and hoardiest nerds on YouTube? You know it. It's me. It's Nerding and Hoarding. See you in the next part when I actually try to design this shit and not just babble a lot. Anyway, in the comments field below, you will see something. It's a code. It looks like this. I will read it now. It's like this. tinyurl.com/2d2a8sep. And isn't that strange? It says 8th September, but it's 5th September today. So that's strange, but it's just coincidence. Anyway, I'm not allowed to make clickable link, so you have to copy it and paste it, but then you can play around with it. You don't have to play with yourself. I just said it because the video is going to be more fun than that way. You have to put jokes inside of a video so it will become funny. And this is the magic. The magic happens right here. Diode. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and stay nerding and stay hoarding, but don't hoard too much because then you have to throw away stuff. If you hoard a little bit less, then you don't have to throw away so many things. So take care. Bye bye. Nerding and hoarding. Quick and dirty DIY electronics.